I have chosen neighborhood and built environments with a focus in reducing the rate of minors and young adults committing violent crimes. So, a neighborhood and built environment includes where somebody lives, works, learns, and plays. So somebody's environment can have an effect on them based on the community that they live in or that they're born into. And it can mean of many different things. Like some communities have a higher quality of life than others, and that will in turn impact somebody's environment. So the neighborhood and built environment, social determinant of health on the Healthy People 2030 have several different objectives under it. And so I've listed them here. Um, Education in schools that promote healthy lifestyles, increasing the amount of clean drinking supply, decreasing the amount of unhealthy air, decreasing the number of asthma attacks and reducing the amount of hospitalizations due to COPD, reducing hearing loss due to loud exposure, increasing proportion of smoke-free homes, reducing the amount of exposure to secondhand smoke, and increasing the amount of adults with broadband internet. And so the only one of these that would go hand in hand with reducing the rate of violent crimes committed by young adults would probably be the education in schools that promote healthy lifestyles. So minors committing violent crimes, it can happen because of difference in communities and what they experience in their lifetime and what they see growing up from their peers and their elders. Um, Most of the underserved communities and communities with poor quality of lives and poor environments and built neighborhoods are minorities, which means that they're already at a disadvantage. Generational trauma, including practicing in the violent behaviors that they've seen from their elders or peers, and discrepancies in the education in underserved communities, which means the education in an underserved community may be lesser than that of a community with more resources. Minors and young adults committing violent crimes, why are they? Oftentimes, it's the only way that children know how to survive. They see and they grow up seeing their moms, dads, aunts, uncles, siblings, and friends using this as a means to create income or just as a way of life, and they don't see any other way out. They also may lack education on healthy lifestyles and positive role models. So, if they're just seeing this kind of violence and negative behavior from people that they look up to, they may not know that there are actual positive role models to look up to and there are other ways of living. And then education may be lacking because, again, the schools may not have the resources that other schools have. So there's a couple different recommendations on the Healthy People 2030 website to reduce the amount of violent crimes committed by minors and young adults. The first is Community Preventative Services Task Force, which has recommended a school-based program to reduce violence. And the second is an intensive therapeutic foster care or cluster therapeutic foster care. So, the school based program to reduce violence would include teaching emotional self control, emotional self awareness, self esteem, positive social skills, problem solving, conflict resolution, and teamwork. So, to me, these all seem pretty straightforward and pretty common knowledge that we would be teaching this to students in school because these are all aspects of learning how to cope in life and learning how to handle issues and resolve issues that you may have. It's just basic knowledge that we all need now in the present and in the future that we will use for the rest of our lives. It's very important coping skills that should be taught in every school, and every student should be learning these from elementary on so that they can have a strong base when they do graduate high school. The other would be the therapeutic foster care. There are two different types. The first is intensive therapeutic foster care, which means it's an alternative to incarceration or hospitalizations for young adults committing violent crimes. Instead, they would be given another opportunity by being placed with a foster parent who has extensive knowledge and resources to help give that child therapy and learn how to change their lifestyle and habits. And the other is cluster therapeutic foster care, which is just a group of foster families that will take care of a group of children and they all kind of do it together. The improvement for this on the Healthy People 2030 website is just showing baseline. It's not showing an improvement or a decline. But to me, this should be definitely one of the main priorities, is just giving people a healthy neighborhood and built environment and just focusing on kids and education in school so we can prevent those violent crimes committed by children and kind of give them more of a fair opportunity.